AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Michael Jimenez. Halftime.
Yes, sir! It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 103.3 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. My name is Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2, sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. It's going to be a great day. Hope everyone's enjoying their Wednesday. Wednesdays means movie reviews, and I'm super excited because at 1:30, I'll give a review of a movie that everyone has seen except for me. Now, typically, I ask listeners to pick those movies. They reach out to us on Twitter or on Facebook or YouTube, and they give suggestions, and sometimes I make polls about it. But this time, my wife chose it. It is an Adam Sandler movie from 1998, The Waterboy. So finally, I'm getting to do a sports movie for my movie review. That's going to be at 1:30. Again, big show. Edwin Hafner is producing today. Giving away tickets, by the way, to the Valero Texas Open this weekend. Fantastic. We'll be giving away those tickets in this show. And also, we have tickets for Daughtry in concert. Big concert coming up at the AT&T Center. If you want to win those tickets, you have to call in to the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines and give us a sports take. That is 656-ESPN. Again, 210-656-ESPN. Give us a sports take on, maybe you want to talk about the Spurs. Spurs are officially in the 10 spot for the upcoming play-in tournament. Season isn't over yet, but it's looking more and more like the Spurs are going to get into the play-in. You want to talk to us about the Dallas Cowboys. There might be even more scandals coming our way involving the Dallas Cowboys. We're going to hear from a reporter who broke one of those breaking news involving them earlier this month, a scandal that involved the cheerleaders that he's saying, you know what, that's just the tip of the iceberg. There is more to come. You want to talk to me about Adam Sandler movies, specifically The Waterboy? Again, call in 656-ESPN. You can win tickets to see Daughtry or get tickets to the Valero Texas Open. Hey, speaking of the Valero Texas Open, tomorrow, all three of the weekday shows will be out there. R&R in the morning, halftime, the Blitz will be out there tomorrow and Friday. It's going to be a fantastic time out there. Come out, say hi to us. I have no idea, Edwin, which hole I'm going to be at. But it'd be so cool to be like at hole number 16, doing my show over there. But they'll probably have me under a tent somewhere. But it's going to be a fantastic time out there. Again, the Valero Texas Open kicks off tomorrow. Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, a lot of big-name golfers out there. It's going to be a fantastic time. Hope to see everyone out there. But let's get things going. The Spurs, baby. It's official. We had the funeral here yesterday. I had fun yesterday on this show eulogizing the Spurs team tank. All season long, I've been wanting the Spurs to get a very good draft pick. And a lot of Spurs fans, I called it the Civil War. Half of them wanted the draft pick. Half of them want the Spurs to go into the play-in tournament. And as the season progressed, I thought to myself, man, no, there's no way we're going to make this play-in tournament because we have to leapfrog so many teams. But what we've seen over the past month is that the Spurs are taking care of business. Now, albeit against bad teams, they've beaten Golden State without Steph Curry. They've gone out and beaten Houston and beaten Oklahoma City. It took a dramatic three-point shot by Lonnie Walker to make that happen. They've gone on and beaten teams like the Pelicans without Brandon Ingram. And because the Spurs went out and won all 4 games of a road trip, and because the Lakers keep losing, and because Sacramento keeps losing and Portland keeps losing, the Spurs, as of today, with 7 games to go in the NBA regular season, the Spurs sit at the 10th spot in line, controlling their destiny to get into the play-in tournament. And again, I am a Spurs fan, and if that's where we find ourselves, in fact, in the play-in tournament, at that point, you just got to cheer for the team. You just got to cheer for the team. But right now, the Spurs have a tough game ahead. Potentially tough game ahead. I mean, they're going up against the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. The Grizzlies coming in with the second best record in the West. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if the Grizzlies win or lose today. In fact, Ja Morant will not be playing tonight. The star who destroyed the Spurs last time he was here at the AT&T, he is not playing tonight. So if you have tickets to tonight's game, hoping to see Ja Morant, got some bad news from you. He's not going to play. Okay. Also questionable is their other star, Jaren Jackson Jr. So, because the Grizzlies are already pretty much locked into the 2 spot, they may not actually have to play Jaren Jackson Jr. So then the Spurs are playing against a good team, missing their 2 best players. So again, some more fortunate events involving the San Antonio Spurs. Now, last night, the LA Lakers lost to the Dallas Mavericks, and it was a blowout from the get-go. I turned the game on in the second quarter, hoping to see a good game. And, keep that one up, by the way. I expected to see at least a decent game, see the Lakers fight a little bit, but it didn't happen. It did not happen. They got blown out from the get-go, ended up losing last night 128-110. To be honest with you, it wasn't even that close. We have people reaching out to us right now on YouTube. By the way, we're not on Facebook right now. We are on YouTube. You can search San Antonio Sports Star and leave some comments. We'd be happy to read the best ones that are there. Again, Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Best callers can get tickets to the Valero, Texas Open or to the Daughtry concert. But Rudolph Gonzalez reaches out and says, Sacramento's been losing and getting high picks for 10 years. Where is the proof that tanking works? And, that's the argument that's there. And I'll elaborate with that. Tanking doesn't always work. And, it doesn't matter where you are. We've seen over the years, there have been busts of people who have picked at number 1 or number 2, Michael Olowokandi back in the day. There was Bennett back in the day. Darko Milicic went number 2 ahead of Carmelo Anthony, ahead of Dwayne Wade. So it doesn't matter sometimes where you pick. I mean, sometimes there will be a player that drops to you. The Spurs got Kawhi Leonard at 15. Take a look at Nikola Jokic, an MVP. He was picked in the second round. Jimmy Butler was at the end of the first round. Tony Parker at the end of the first round. Monty Ginobili in the second round. There is talent if you develop that talent. The thing about it is that I always get this argument from people who want the Spurs to go into the play-in tournament. What I fear is the Spurs are going to get into the play-in tournament, and I'm going to have to cheer for them at that point, right? Because I am a Spurs fan, and to me, there's no difference between a pick of, 12 and 15 at that point. It's just a mid-first round pick at that point. But when I look at that, the Spurs, if the Spurs win the 10-9 matchup and then go on and play the loser of the 7-8 matchup and actually make the playoffs to play Phoenix in the first round, the Spurs are no longer drafting at 7, no longer drafting at 8. They're now drafting at 15 or 16 at that point. And it's kind of hard for teams to get better when they constantly draft at that level, okay? Take a look at teams like the Portland Trail Blazers or the Indiana Pacers. They are small market teams that constantly pick in the teens, and they never get better. It's a treadmill. They're moving, but going nowhere. And that's what I fear for the Spurs, because the Spurs have been fortunate and dare I say lucky to draft certain players late in the first round, late in the second round that may not have been there. Okay, I'll give you an example here. There are reports out there that say that Kelden Johnson was going to be drafted by another team, but that the team changed its mind at the last minute and Kelden dropped to 29. The Spurs are fortunate that he was there. Did you know there was an interview I saw a while back involving Tony Parker, where Tony Parker says that he was going to be drafted by the Boston Celtics and that they called him when it was their turn to pick and told him he was going to be drafted and that his name was put into an envelope to be given to the commissioner to read. And guess what? Very last second, someone in the Celtics organization came out and said, no, we're going to go another direction. And Tony Parker fell a couple more spots and the Spurs grabbed him. It's weird. Kawhi Leonard was supposed to be a top 6 pick. Most of the mock drafts had him that way. He dropped to 15. The Spurs had a draft day trade in place before the draft because the Spurs identified Kawhi Leonard as their guy. There's a great article called Anatomy of a Trade involving Kawhi Leonard. Go search that. It's fantastic. It talks about how the Spurs actually had that trade with the Pacers involving George Hill in place before the draft ever happened. And they said that if he fell to 15, that they would want that trade to go through. And the weird thing was that the Pacers did not know at the time who that player was going to be. They just basically said, hey, look, we have a guy that we've identified. If he drops to 15, can we pull this trade? George Hill, swap him out. And what ended up happening was Kawhi Leonard fell, and the Pacers were like, you're going after Kawhi, right? And the Spurs came out and said, hey, this is, we have a trade in place. Let's just make this happen. The trade happened, and the Spurs drafted Kawhi Leonard. This is a long way of saying that you can get talent at any part of the draft. And oftentimes it's about, can you develop that talent? If Kelden Johnson got drafted by other teams, he might be better than what he is today, but he also might be worse than what he is today, because it all depends on the situation. It all depends on health. It all depends on lots of things. Maybe Zion Williamson does not get hurt if he got drafted by a different team. Maybe he'd be healthy if he was at Memphis. We'll never know. Would John Morant be as good of a player if he had been drafted by New Orleans instead? How many rings would Tim Duncan have had if he wasn't drafted by the Spurs organization? I think that he would have won a title wherever he went. He might have had 2 or 3. I don't think he would have had 5, but I think he would have had 2 or 3 if he was drafted by the Boston Celtics. But let's turn that around. It's Tim, Tony, and Manu. How many rings would Manu have had? How many rings would Tony Parker have had? Would they have had Hall of Fame level careers had they not played with Tim Duncan? So the argument about teams like Sacramento constantly drafting big players, that's just a bad organization. Just sometimes it just doesn't work because the organization is bad. The Cleveland Browns are an example of that. The Cleveland Browns in the NFL have constantly been getting quarterback after quarterback after quarterback and cannot actually make anything happen good within that organization. Baker Mayfield's the best that they've had in over 20 years. So going back to the Spurs, the fact of the matter is that right now, the better players, if you trust that they could draft well at 25 or 29, then you should trust that they can draft well at 7 or 8. But we're past that point. We're past that point. You have something, Edwin?
Well, you talk about the Kings, like,
yeah,
they had a chance to draft Luka Doncic. They drafted Marvin Bagley instead.
Exactly.
Right, in 2018. I mean, now there was reports that Luka didn't want to go to Sacramento. He kind of finagled his way to Dallas, right? I mean, I think he didn't work out with Sacramento at the time. Like, I don't think he wanted to go there, but him and his team didn't want to go there. But I mean, they passed up a guy who's a top 10 player and maybe a top 5 player. So, I mean, in Sacramento, I mean, they usually haven't had, I mean, De'Aaron Fox was a hit, obviously. He's not a superstar, but he's a good player.
Mm-hmm.
But outside of that, they traded away Halliburton, right, to Indiana for Sabonis. So, I mean, they've just missed on a lot of their draft picks.
Yeah, they've missed because they may not have the scouting that the Spurs have. They obviously don't have the coaching that the Spurs have, and it's beyond Pop. I mean, it's Chip Engelland as he's the doctor of shooting, right? Kawhi Leonard would never have been the star that he was without Chip Engelland. Tony Parker's shooting accuracy improved because of Chip Engelland, and we're taking a look at Keldon Johnson take that leap as well. I'm excited about Keldon Johnson. People are like, well, what is he going to be next year? Well, I think he'll be better next year, but what I'm most looking forward to is, what is Keldon Johnson going to look like in 2024? Because usually there's that jump in year 4 that really, really takes effect for players. We saw that with Lonnie Walker towards the end of the season. And, people will ask questions like, why are we drafting projects and things like that? Almost every single player out there in the NBA is a project to some extent. Very rarely do you see a player come out and know for sure that they're going to be a sure thing. I mean, what was the last sure thing? I mean, Zion Williamson was considered to be the sure thing if he was healthy. And people call him a bust, and I'm kind of borderline about that. But he averaged 27 points per game last year.
No, when he plays, he's really good.
He's really good. Yeah, it's because he's unhealthy. It's not the talent. And we've seen that with like Grant Hill, over the years. You see players who, Brandon Roy, players who are good talent. Now, as far as projects are concerned, if you're drafting outside the top 5, typically they are a project to some extent. And sometimes, and keep in mind, this wasn't the days of Tim Duncan where you go to college for 4 years, or David Robinson where you go to college for 4 years. Right now, we're drafting players based on potential, drafting players internationally also based on potential, because right now It's taken 2, 3, 4 years to get people going. Very few players can actually come out of the draft and actually hit the ground running. I think Devin Vassell is probably the closest thing the Spurs have drafted to an NBA-ready player in a long, long time. And a lot of people are bagging on Primo. I think Primo had an outstanding rookie campaign. He hit the wall, yeah, but that's what rookies do. He hit the wall around end of February. But I thought Primo, he may have averaged only 5 or 6 points per game, but he has shown flashes of getting better defensively. He's shown some ups. His three-point shooting is decent. And, Skull Leader on YouTube comes out and says, look at the Knicks, Sacramento, Orlando, Charlotte. Scouting is everything. Hey, what do you think? Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, 656 ESPN. Call in with a take involving the Spurs or Cowboys or whatever you'd like to talk about involving the sports. Here's the thing, though. You call in, the 2 best callers win a prize. You can choose between tickets to the Valero Texas Open, or you can choose tickets to go see Daughtry in concert. I like me some Daughtry, but we were talking about the sure things. One of the sure things that we've had in the past 25 years was LeBron James. I find it very interesting that LeBron James sat out the last game. He did twist his ankle pretty badly a couple days ago. That's understood. But did you know that right now he sort of leads the league in scoring? Sort of. Because right now he's averaging 30.1 points per game, which is amazing for his age. Fantastic. Amazing. But you need to play 58 games in order to win the scoring title. And right now he's at 55. So he's hurt right now, but he goes out on the court. He needs 3 more games to win it. I find that to be pretty interesting. Giannis is right behind him at 29.9 points per game. So, right now you're taking a look at that. And not only Giannis, Joel Embiid is also at 29.9 points per game. They have enough games to win the title, the scoring title. And you can't just have LeBron go out there and just play a couple of minutes, because that would lower his points per game. So he needs to go out there and do well for a good 3 or 4 games. Remember back in the day, David Robinson and Shaq going for the scoring title? That's one of the funniest things that's ever happened in Spurs history, in San Antonio sports history, was watching David Robinson go out for more than 70 points on the last game of the season to win the scoring title over Shaquille O'Neal. And hearing Shaquille O'Neal, even years later, 15, 20, 25 years later, still arguing about it, still saying, I cannot believe that David Robinson did that. But his stat line that day was remarkable. David Robinson going out there, I believe it was 71 points. But David Robinson went out there and won the scoring title. And at the time, I was a little bit embarrassed, because I was like, man, that's just not like the Spurs to go out there and pass the ball to him. But it happened on April 24th, 1994. I cannot believe it has been 28 years. The Spurs beat the Clippers that day, 112-97. And I'm looking at the box score, and it's relatively embarrassing. David Robinson that day played 44 minutes, shot 26 for 41, 18 for 25 from the free throw line, and he knocked down a 3-pointer. Also had 14 rebounds and 5 assists, couple of blocks, 71 points to win the scoring title back in 1994. That's what I'm talking about. Sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. That part right there was the nostalgia. Hey, Spurs again in action tonight, taking on the Memphis Grizzlies. Tip-off at 7:30 at the AT&T Center. Again, the Spurs are in line to get that 10 spot, control their destiny. Hey, we're on ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Again, Kielbasa Bacon phone lines open at 656 ESPN. The Dallas Cowboys might have more skeletons hiding in the closet. And more, it's sounding like an episode to the HBO show Succession. Have you ever seen that show? It's one of the greatest shows I've ever seen. There's like 3 seasons out on HBO Max right now. It's an amazing show involving backstabbing, involving, just corporate greed, if you will. It's a great show. I highly recommend it. But the Cowboys have already had 2 scandals break out, potential scandals break out over the last month or so. The first one involved 4 cheerleaders. It came out, it was reported that there was a $2.4 million settlement that the team had, and that a senior exec was accused of peeping on them at a team event. So all these non-disclosure agreements were signed, and the news still came out years later, because this happened years ago. Now, earlier this month, there was allegations that Jerry Jones had an illegitimate child, and a paternity lawsuit was filed. And Jones's attorney this week is like, no, we want this kicked out. Gold digger, whatever the case may be, this person's crazy. It's not true. They want this thrown out. That is the second scandal involving the Dallas Cowboys. Well, yesterday, ESPN's Don Van Natta, who, by the way, is a friend of San Antonio sports star. He appears on the Blitz with Jason Minix and Joe Reinagle pretty frequently. And after the cheerleader scandal came out and was on air with us as then, he says that there could be up to 8 more scandals involving the Dallas Cowboys organization. Not one.
I think that that's something that they suspect. And the reason why I believe
let's
that is because there is a line in this march.
There might be 8 scandals. We're gonna play this out in a second. But here's the thing. So there's 8 scandals potentially involving the Dallas Cowboys. Now, here's the thing. Where are they coming from? Where there's smoke, there's fire. There's that saying, right? Now, here's the thing. Van Natta was talking on 105.3 The Fan, and he says that the Cowboys think that they're all coming from an individual named Shy Anderson. Now, who is Shy Anderson? Well, he is divorcing Jerry Jones's daughter, and the Cowboys apparently believe that this is all part of an elaborate extortion attempt and that Shy Anderson is involved with all of it.
I think that that's something that they suspect. And the reason why I believe that is because there is a line in this March 10th letter that I'm referring to where Charles Babcock, the lawyer for Jerry Jones, asks Shy Anderson to preserve, and I'll read off the letter, all communications with any person regarding an incident with certain Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders, which was the subject of an article by ESPN. So that's one of the areas. There's actually 10 preservation topics in this letter that they ask Shy Anderson to preserve evidence on for a potential lawsuit against him alleging extortion. So when they refer in this response that they filed yesterday in court, the Dallas Cowboys lawyers, or the lawyers for Jerry Jones, I should say, they are basically putting out the theory that all of these things are somehow connected. Now, we've seen no evidence of that. This is just an allegation that's been made. But presumably, if there will be additional litigation filed, and they are promising that, we'll see more evidence that they have of such a grand conspiracy.
That is Don Van Natta, reporter from ESPN on 105.3 The Fan, talking about, again, keep your notes, keep your communications, talking about Shy Anderson when it comes to that, about litigation in the future. What is he talking about? We don't know, because we don't know how many non-disclosure agreements the Dallas Cowboys have been a part of. We don't know what goes on. And this might not only be a Dallas Cowboys thing. This might be stuff happening with other teams. We've had allegations involving the New York Giants, the Denver Broncos, the Miami Dolphins. I mean, in baseball, there's the Yankees scandal as well. So the question is that when it comes to the Cowboys, are they worse than any other team when it comes to scandals? Or are they good at hiding them? But it's very interesting to see that the Cowboys have circled their wagons around one person, and they're saying, hey, we think that all of this is coming from this guy, Shy Anderson, who, again, is currently married, divorcing Jerry Jones's daughter, who she is an exec with the organization as well. She's also the person who, remember the person from the cheerleading scandal? Dalrymple, the senior VP, when the allegations against him back in the day about him having an upskirt photo taken with his cell phone, that was her. This is all so toxic and ugly, but I'm not surprised at all about it. What do you think? Do you think this is all nothing? Do you think that this needs to be investigated further? Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, 656 ESPN. The NFL owners right now are meeting, annual meetings that they have in the offseason, and the draft is actually just about 4 weeks away. And what I found was kind of interesting was that one of the hot topics out there is Deshaun Watson. Now, keep in mind, Deshaun Watson was traded to the Cleveland Browns, from the Texans to the Cleveland Browns, as part of this blockbuster trade. Man, I think the Houston Texans did so well in that trade. But you take a look at what's going on with the Cleveland Browns, with Deshaun Watson. They finally got their elite quarterback under center. And right now, some of these owners for these NFL teams are kind of pissed off right now. One of them in particular, the Ravens owner, Steve Biscotti, he is ticked off right now because of Deshaun Watson's contract. 5 years, $230 million, all guaranteed, and he's not happy about it.
It's like, damn, I wish they hadn't guaranteed the whole contract. I don't know that he should have been the first guy to get a fully guaranteed contract. To me, that's something that is groundbreaking, and it'll make negotiations harder with others.
That's a very good point. Should Deshaun Watson have been the guy to get a fully guaranteed contract of that size? Not only did he reset the market when it comes to quarterbacks, but also fully guaranteed. What's going to happen when Lamar Jackson of the Ravens, who I believe is next in line, what's going to happen when he wants a new contract? He's going to say, dude, Deshaun Watson got his fully guaranteed, and he was accused by 22 massage therapists of inappropriate behavior. That's insane. How are they going to tell Lamar Jackson no? What about when it's Joe Burrow's time? Do you think Joe Burrow is going to want a fully guaranteed contract? Of course he is. And I'm sure Mahomes will want to redo his contract at some point. I'm taking a look at this. Maybe the Dallas Cowboys, even though they waited too long to get Dak Prescott signed, maybe they made off, man. Maybe it's going to look like a good contract as time goes on. But again, I agree with Ravens owner Steve Biscotti. It was insane that amount of money was offered and that much draft capital went to the Houston Texans. That reeks of desperation. But I get it. You need to have an elite quarterback to be good in the NFL. We're a pass-happy league. But I'm taking a look at that, and I'm like, man, Deshaun Watson is. I said last week that Deshaun Watson had that the best thing that ever happened to him might have been this whole scandal because he got to wiggle out of Houston and he got to redo his contract. And people don't like it when I say something like that. But it's true. He's kind of better off. The weird thing is that he's out of the woods when it comes to criminal proceedings, but he still has civil lawsuits ahead of him. And according to NFL Commissioner Roger Goodell, he might have a possible suspension up ahead too.
We've been very clear with every club that whether the criminal matter it gets resolved or not, the personal conduct policy is something that's very important to us. And so the personal conduct policy does not need a criminal violation to be a violation of the personal conduct policy. So they recognize that that's something that we're going to pursue. We're going to make sure that we get to the bottom of the facts and make sure that how it applies to the personal conduct policy. That's where we are at this point. And when we get to that, a decision will be made on whether there should be any discipline. And if so, what is it?
Personal conduct policy. You do not need to be criminally charged to be guilty or be suspended because of that conduct policy. Zeke Elliott is a good example of that. And when it comes to civil matters, keep in mind, that's completely different than criminal matters. Criminal matters is beyond a reasonable doubt. I mean, it's very, very hard to be criminally charged and prosecuted for something that he's alleged to have done. Again, he says that he never did any of that stuff. I saw video of the deposition, though. I don't believe him. I don't believe him at all. I don't believe the NFL believes him. Just because he's found not guilty or not charged, rather, doesn't mean that he didn't do it. And again, people come out and say the other side, oh, well, they could be gold diggers. You know, some of them might be lying. All of them might be lying. But man, I saw that deposition. I saw parts of it. I didn't see the whole thing. I saw a couple minutes of it. And it just looked so ugly. It was a really, really bad look. And, I have my personal opinion on it, but tell me what you think. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. It is March 30th, and 4 weeks from tomorrow on April 28th, we are less than 30 days away from the NFL draft. I love the NFL draft. And right now, the Dallas Cowboys have a lot of holes to fill. We've seen a lot of players go off away. Amari Cooper is gone. Cedric Wilson's gone. Randy Gregory took off. Lyle Collins. What are the Cowboys going to do when it comes to the draft? When we come back, we're going to hear from Stephen Jones, who's going to break down exactly what positions the Cowboys could be looking at. Hey, it's Movie Review Wednesday. Today, it's going to be The Waterboy, 1998. I guess we can call it a classic, starring Adam Sandler. And we're giving away tickets again to the Valero Texas Open and to Daughtry in concert. Call the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines at 656 ESPN if you want to talk. Again, this is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
When you draft a player into the NFL, you hope they live up to expectations. But free agents are a different story.
The best defensive player in the world. Let's go.
You know what they can do on Sundays. Yeah. And there's a lot of players looking to sell their talents. Who's in demand? Which teams are shopping? Which deals will shake up the league?
Aaron Rodgers will make a fortune.
Listen for the latest.
Jackpot.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, but when we just come out and say it, it feels like it falls a bit flat. So instead, we're going to hire a professional voice actor and pay him absurd amounts of money to say,
I like this product.
Not sure why that was better. I mean, I'm a professional too, but we didn't pay him to say the business part, so back to me. Save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive. Sorry, I know hearing me say it was a bit of a letdown. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Discount not available in all states or situations.
Here at Total Wine & More, you'll find what you love and love what you find.
I'm looking for a whiskey that will blow my buddies away.
This single barrel bourbon is a surefire hit.
Oh, yeah. Whoa, did you hear that? I feel like a rock star.
Well, finding this bottle at that price, you totally are. Find what you love what you find. Only at Total Wine & More. Pickup and delivery available at TotalWine.com. Drink responsibly. B21.
At the United States Postal Service, we deliver packages fast and affordably so you can give your customers what they want when they need it. We're delivering for one-stop shops, mom and pops, pop-ups, startups, retail, wholesale, large scale, small biz, big box, customers, customizers. So no matter what business you're in, we'll always be delivering for you. USPS, delivering for America. Learn more at USPS.com/delivering.
Taste of the Northside is back and at a new location. Join us Thursday, April 7th from 6:30 to 11:30 at the Dominion Country Club, hosted by Brighton Center and presented by HEB. This Fiesta event for foodies is one inclusive ticket price that includes parking, entry, live entertainment, and unlimited food tastings for $125. Purchase tickets at tasteofthenorthside.org. Proceeds benefit Brighton Center, providing an educational and developmental foundation for children with disabilities and delays.
Are you at a dead end when it comes to dealing with that awful joint pain? So was Rick Rawlings.
I did 1.5 years of steroidal injections in my shoulders, both shoulders. They weren't helping at all, and it was just a Band-Aid.
As for the constant pain medication prescriptions,
I didn't get any relief. I didn't get any sleep, so I just stopped taking them. I didn't want to get hooked on drugs.
But one day,
I heard a commercial on the radio about QC Kinetics.
Rick called QC Kinetics and learned all about natural biologic therapies, non-surgical treatments that actually help the body restore damaged joint tissue. And it was life-changing.
After doing the QC Kinetics, I feel like I have a new life again. Today, my shoulders feel wonderful. My only regret was I wish I had done it sooner.
From dead ends to new beginnings. Call today and learn about QC Kinetics' long-lasting relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318. That's 210-571-0318. QC Kinetics, 210-571-0318.
Dell's semi-annual sale is the perfect opportunity for a significant business upgrade. Save up to 45% on Dell computers with Windows 11 Pro and get an easy start to your workday. Plus, enjoy special pricing on Dell docks, monitors, servers, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today to find the right tech for your business with fast, free shipping. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL.
Sure, we have 30 seconds to tell you that drivers who switch to Progressive could save big. But then what? We could romance the legal copy. It never gets the attention it deserves. And some lawyer worked real hard on it. So take it away, lawyer.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. National annual average insurance savings by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive in 2020. Potential savings will vary.
Now that was some beautiful legal. Well done, lawyer. Well done.
Take a break from the hustle. This is Halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Taste of the North Side is back and at a new location. Join us Thursday, April 7th from 6:30 to 11:30 at the Dominion Country Club, hosted by the Brighton Center and presented by H-E-B. It's a fiesta event for foodies with one inclusive price. $125 gets you parking, entry, live entertainment, and unlimited food tastings. You can purchase tickets at tasteofthenorthside.org. Proceeds benefit Brighton Center, which provides educational and developmental foundation for children with disabilities and delays. Welcome back to Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. My name's Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2, sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Edwin Hafner is producing this show. You can reach out to us at 656-ESPN. Those are the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines. Best callers of the day get tickets to see either Daughtry in concert or the Valero Texas Open, which begins tomorrow. You get to choose. Again, 656-ESPN. Want to talk about the Spurs, Cowboys, play-in tournament. Want to get nostalgic about Adam Sandler? Again, 656-ESPN. We're also live on YouTube right now. Not on Facebook, but the thing is, YouTube and SA Sports Star, watching it there is a better experience because you can pause it. You can fast forward. You can rewind. I absolutely love watching it on YouTube. That's how I watch it. Okay. But again, Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656-ESPN. You know, April 28th is the big day, the NFL draft. And I get super pumped up about the NFL draft because you never know what's going to happen. There's always trades, teams moving up, moving down. You know, it was so weird last season watching the Dallas Cowboys trade with the Philadelphia Eagles in the first round. I mean, they're divisional rivals, but when it came to the draft, it was like, yeah, we'll do some trade. We'll pull off a trade, and the Cowboys ended up getting Micah Parsons in the first round, which was kind of weird because admit it, Cowboy fans, you were a little bit concerned when Micah Parsons' name was called. You guys wanted J.C. Horn. You guys wanted Patrick Surtain. You wanted that shutdown corner that was taken right before you guys. But man, Parsons, Defensive Player of the Year, an incredible player. Guy's just crazy good. But you never know what you're going to get. But when it comes to the Cowboys, again, the draft starts April 28th. The Cowboys can go in so many different directions. But one thing I think is certain is that the Cowboys cannot reach for a name. When it comes to winning in the NFL, it's always in the trenches, right? It's offensive line, defensive line. The Cowboys in the past have gone out and used first-round draft picks on players like Zeke Elliott. They've gone out and traded their first-round draft pick to get like an Amari Cooper. They got CeeDee Lamb. It might be time to go back to the basics. And Stephen Jones of the Cowboys was just talking about that at the owners' meeting. Was talking about how the Cowboys have so many ways that they can go, but they're looking at certain things right now.
I mean, as we go, we'll see, where we are. I mean, you bring up a great one. I mean, we lost two really good receivers, in Amari and Said. So obviously, we signed James Washington, which is good. We really thought a lot of him coming out of Oklahoma State, and he played there in Pittsburgh and made some big plays for them. But certainly, we're looking to find some people who can make plays, and that receiver situation certainly jumps out. I mean, we've got Dalton, and unfortunately, Blake has had a tough deal medically in terms of his journey in the league. So, you want to, in this league, you'd like to have, this day and time with the matchups, you'd love to have more than just one tight end. And we mentioned the offensive line is important. I thought we have done a really good job on the defensive side of the ball of not having a lot of major issues there.
That is Stephen Jones, Executive VP and Player Personnel Director of the Dallas Cowboys. Edwin, he named a lot of positions there, man. He was talking about wide receiver. He was talking about offensive line, defensive end. They need a kicker, so many different types of positions there. But Edwin, if you were making the decision as a Dallas Cowboy fan, what would you choose?
Trenches, offensive line. I think, listen, I mean, there was a point in time from probably 2014 to 2016, 17, where the Cowboys undisputedly had the best offensive line in the NFL, right?
Mhm.
And what did they do? They drafted Tyron Smith in the top 10. They drafted Zach Martin instead of Johnny Manziel, thank goodness. They got Travis Fredericks, and they built that offensive line from the ground up. Travis Fredericks retired. Tyron's getting up there in age, and he's towards the end. Zach is still really good, but they have to get back to having a great offensive line because I think it's going to help Dak a whole lot. It's going to help the run game a whole lot. And I think, you know, the one thing we talk about the offensive struggles the second half of the year, and Dak struggled the second half of the year in the offense in general, but they couldn't run the football. Teams are daring them to run the football, essentially just playing 4 people on the line of scrimmage and dropping everyone in the coverage, and they still couldn't run. So I think if they can get back to running the football at a much better rate like they did the first half of the year, then I would be happy.
Great analysis there. I completely agree that the Cowboys need to go offensive line. Not only do it once, but do it twice. They need to solidify that because think about it. The Cowboys' best years ever, they had one of the best offensive lines. You go back to the 90s, you know, with Stepnowski and Larry Allen and 2-A back in the day. You know, you have all of those different types of offensive linemen who were so good. I don't know if Michael Irvin has the career that he has, or Emmitt Smith or Troy Aikman, if it wasn't for that offensive line. And what we have seen from Dak Prescott is that Prescott needs things to kind of be perfect in order for him to excel. And I think it's very overrated to have 3 or 4 elite receivers. That was the thing that the Cowboys were always talking about, like, you know, or Cowboy fans, like, well, we've got, you know, Gallup and we've got CD and we've got Cooper and all these different players. I'm like, no, get a good offensive line, man. Get a good defensive front and let the chips fall where they may at that point. Because I think if the Cowboys can address their offensive line, whether it be through free agency or the draft, I would rather them do it through the draft so they can build somebody up. I think that's how you get Dak better. And I think that's how you make the offense click better. Because again, people always come up to me and go, oh yeah, well, you know, the Cowboys had the #1 offense last year. I know, but they also had one of the weakest schedules. So it's kind of hard to assess exactly how good they've been. You know, we take a look at that with the Spurs. Spurs fans are excited that they've won 4 games in a row on the road. But I'm like, who have they beaten? I don't think we have a measuring stick yet. And then tonight, the Spurs play a Memphis team without Ja Morant and possibly without Jaren Jackson Jr. So again, we're still not going to know how good this team is, if they've gotten any better or if the competition has just been that bad. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, 656 ESPN. Talk to me about the Spurs. Talk to me about the Cowboys. Talk to me about sports, baby. This is what we do, sports, pop culture, and nostalgia. You know, Stephen Jones was also talking about the new overtime rule. He was supportive of it. He actually broke the news to the reporters that were there who had no idea. But yesterday, the NFL has adopted a new rule for overtime in the playoffs. And it was all stemming, well, maybe it doesn't just stem, but it was the straw that broke the camel's back, which was that Kansas City Buffalo playoff game that everyone loved. And it went into overtime. And Kansas City got the ball, scored a touchdown. And people were like, oh my God, Josh Allen didn't get a chance to get back on the field. So the overtime rule was changed for the playoffs only, where both teams are guaranteed to get the ball, even if the first team, the team that wins the coin toss, even if they score a touchdown first, the other team's going to get the ball. And then I guess it goes to sudden death at that point. I'm not a big fan. Gonna be honest with you. I'm not a big fan. When I first heard it, I was like, yeah. But then I thought about it and I was like, no, man, defense is part of the game. And it used to be that a field goal would win the game, but they changed it to a touchdown. But, you know, I'm a little bit disheartened by it because, again, it is a rule for the playoffs, but not the regular season. If they were doing it both ways, then I guess I'd be fine with it. But with the regular season having one set of rules and the playoffs having a second set of rules, not a big fan. Again, Kielbasa Bacon phone lines open at 656 ESPN. We're live on YouTube, and we're also on SA Sports Star right now. You know, before we go to break, just wanted to send my condolences again to the friends and family of Michael Deleon. Michael Deleon recently passed away, and today is his funeral. In fact, I know that Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 was asked to be a pallbearer out there. He's a friend of the show. Michael Deleon, for those of you who don't know, was the founder and editor of Project Spurs Network. It was kind of like the beginning of the blogs and the podcasts involving the San Antonio Spurs. And his passing, the Spurs honored him with a tweet and talking about him as well. Again, he'll be laid to rest today. He was, I believe, 44, 45 years old when he passed away. Michael Deleon is somebody that a lot of people, a lot of reporters here in town who cover the Spurs, whether for big outlets or small outlets and everything in between, come out and say that he helped start their career. And whenever I hear stuff like that, I think that type of person needs to be honored. I never met Michael Deleon, but we interacted on Twitter from time to time, responding to each other. Joe Mandian reaches out on YouTube right now and says, R.I.P. Mike, he left a legacy for San Antonio. And that's very, very true. Because when he passed, so many people that I see and I read and I respect on Twitter were all about him and saying that he helped jumpstart their careers and that he was just a good man. And again, his funeral today, the viewing was yesterday. I believe that the funeral is in Luling. And I just want to say rest in peace, Mike. A lot of people are thinking of you. And just wanted to just extend my condolences to not only your family and your friends, but also the people who read your stuff, who listened to your stuff. And rest in peace, Mike. When we come back, obviously we talk about sports, pop culture, nostalgia here at halftime. There's still a little bit more involving Chris Rock. He came out of hiding yesterday. He came out of hiding. It was the first time he had been seen since he had gotten slapped by Will Smith. We'll tell you where he was. And Jim Carrey has a reaction that you cannot miss. His reaction to the whole fiasco at the Oscars. And it's also Movie Review Wednesday. Today, we're doing The Waterboy, Adam Sandler classic from 1998. Again, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN, 656 ESPN. Your chance to win tickets to see Daughtry in concert or to go to the Valero, Texas Open, which begins tomorrow. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
The NCAA tournament started with 68 teams.
You can feel the madness!
After a handful of upsets and some buzzer beaters, we've landed here. The Final Four in the Big Easy and a national championship game happens here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Sports Center is brought to you by Kielbasa Slow Crafted Sausage, available at your local grocery stores.
In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs have moved into 10th and the play-in tournament with the Lakers' 128-110 loss last night to the Dallas Mavericks. San Antonio will return to action tonight as they go for their 5th straight win against the Memphis Grizzlies, who are 18-2 on the season without Ja Morant. Tip-off is set for 7:30 from the AT&T Center. Lonnie Walker could be back from his 4-game absence due to back spasms, as he is listed as probable for tonight's game against the Grizzlies. In the NIT semifinals, the Fighting Texas A&M Aggies are on to the NIT title game after beating Washington State 72-56, led by Quentin Jackson's 18 points. They'll face Xavier in the finals on Thursday, who beat St. Bonaventure 84-77. I'm Rudy Jay for San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Golfers, swing into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the hottest new arrivals from Cobra, featuring the new LTDX drivers, engineered for the longest total distance with extreme forgiveness. Internal weights create the power core, and hot face technology delivers faster ball speeds at every contact point. 4 drivers to fit every golfer's needs. Swing by Edwin Watts Golf Shops and get custom fit today. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee, and shop us online at worldwidegolfshops.com.
Not all pizza places are the same. Mellow Mushroom originated hand-tossed, stone-baked classic Southern pizza. Not in the mood for pizza? Order a calzone, hoagie, sandwich, burger, or a mellow salad and see how care goes into every item on the menu. Take your pick from 24 draft beers and or handcrafted cocktails. And many of the pizzas can be made gluten-free or vegan. Mellow Mushroom is at 1604 in Stone Oak Parkway. Hang with friends, watch the game, and mellow out at Mellow Mushroom.
At Wendy's, March is madness. with our breakfast Baconator. Sausage, egg, and Swiss croissant, both made with fresh cracked eggs, or even a honey butter chicken biscuit. And we're just getting warmed up. Get 50% off the official breakfast of March Madness when you order through the Wendy's app. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
For a limited time at participating Wendy's via app offer only. Account registration required. No discount applies to taxes or fees. Not valid with any other offer.
This week on RVER, sponsored by Progressive Insurance. I'm sorry, I can't operate on that vehicle.
But doctor, you took an oath.
That RV, it's my son's RV.
Oh, doctor, isn't there anything you can
I'm not a miracle worker, Sheila. I'm an RV surgeon, trained to save the lives of large injured recreational vehicles, which is definitely a real profession.
When your RV really needs saving, Progressive has you covered. See if you could save with a leader in RV insurance. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, covered subject to policy terms.
On the radio, all I hear is sell us your house, sell us your car, sell us your dog, sell us your wife, and sell us your children. My name's John Clay Wolf, and I created GiveMeTheVin.com. First guy to ever advertise sell us your car on the radio. Everybody copied me, man. I got to come up with a new deal. No, I don't, because we're the best car buyer in the United States of America. GiveMeTheVin.com. And if we don't beat a CarMax offer, send you a check for $100.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Hello, Connecticut. May I help you?
This is Bill Tyson. Is this my Connecticut Pro?
Yes, Mr. Tyson. What can I do for you?
Calling from Yellowstone National Park. Old Faithful just erupted and reminded me I didn't set the vacation bypass on my Connecticut water conditioner. Would you run over to my house and set it? I've hidden the key under my door, man.
Well,
I forgot to set the bypass last year. I had that other brand, and the software used up 4,000 pounds of salt in a week.
Mr. Tyson, relax. With your new Connecticut, there is no vacation cycle or any worries about salt. If you don't use any water, your Connecticut won't either. We not only believe in saving salt, but also in saving water.
Would you go over and unplug it then? I'm trying to conserve electricity.
You forget that your Connecticut doesn't use electricity either. There's nothing to plug in. And don't forget that your Connecticut is also completely automatic.
I mean, I can relax and enjoy my whole vacation?
That's right.
This is great. I've got Old Faithful here at Yellowstone and an Old Faithful in my Connecticut water conditioner at home.
The last water softener you'll ever own. Connecticut SA.com.
Hi, Jason Minix here for River City Oral Surgery. If you're missing teeth, you may feel embarrassed when you laugh or smile. And you know, missing teeth can also affect how you use your mouth. You could have trouble speaking, eating, and chewing properly. You can correct these issues with dental implants. They look natural, feel natural, and they're securely in place, built to last a lifetime with proper care. Mark Havercorn at River City Oral Surgery is an oral surgeon and a medical doctor who specializes in all types of oral surgery, including implants. Last year alone, he placed over 1,200 dental implants. River City Oral Surgery is a direct care practice. You don't need a referral. Prices are listed right on the website, rivercityoms.com, and financing is available. Stop feeling embarrassed when you smile. Call River City Oral Surgery at 210-778-0002 and tell them Jason sent you. For comfortable, natural-looking implants, call River City Oral Surgery, 210-778-0002.
The most up-to-date tournament scores and news. We've got it for you, because we all get the madness in March. Listen for the latest. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
This is Joe Reinagle. Jason Minix and I will get you caught up on the latest news, moves, and more this afternoon, 4 to 7 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Upload a photo of what's on your grill and enter description and recipe at sasportstar.com, and you could win a $50 gift card to Tri-County Meat Market, winner chosen every Thursday at 6 on the Blitz. Welcome back to halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 103.3 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. We are live on YouTube. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Your chance to win tickets to the Valero Texas Open or see Daughtry in concert. You know, the show must go on, apparently, because comedian Chris Rock has been spotted in public for the first time since he got smacked by Will Smith at the Oscars. Chris Rock right now is in Boston. He was spotted at the airport. Apparently, witnesses are saying that he had his head down, that he kept to himself. But why is he in Boston? It's because tonight he is performing 2 shows. Man, I cannot wait to hear what he says. I cannot wait. Chris Rock is not only in public, He's going to have 2 comedy shows tonight. You know he has to address it, right? He has to have this as part of his act. He has to say something because everyone else is talking about it, including fellow comedian Jim Carrey, who came out and was on CBS News this morning calling Hollywood spineless, saying that he was disgusted and appalled because the members of the Academy all stood up and gave a standing ovation to Will Smith 45 minutes later when he won the Academy Award for Best Actor. Said that they shouldn't have done that. They shouldn't have honored him. And there's certain organizations that are coming out saying that, you know what, if he was part of our awards show, we would have escorted him out. But Edwin, I never got your take, my man. You know, this whole thing revolved around the fact that Chris Rock made a joke about Jada Pinkett Smith, who is married to Will Smith, and she has a condition known as alopecia, which basically one of the symptoms is that it you know, you sometimes lose hair, and she shaved her head bald, and he made a joke about her being bald by saying, "I cannot wait to see you on G.I. Jane 2." You know, referring to a movie from way back in the day, right? Goes on to say that Will Smith laughs, Jada rolls her eyes, Chris Rock moves on to another topic, and suddenly Will Smith is on the stage. Chris Rock, with his hands behind his back, leans forward, and Will Smith assaults him. Might say a slap, a smush, whatever you want to call it, but assaults him in front of millions of people. And half the crowd or half the people that I come across on Twitter say that they side with Chris Rock. Half the side say that they side with Will Smith. Edwin, when you saw it, did you believe it was real? And now that we've had time to process it, are you more in favor of what Will did, or are you more siding with Chris Rock in this whole situation?
Well, I couldn't believe it actually happened when it happened. I thought it was like, I was like, paused for a second. I was just like, wait, that actually happened in the Oscars, the biggest award show of the whole year. But listen, I don't think Will should have come up there and slapped him. But at the same time, I will say, you know, Jada has a condition, obviously, that's, you know, pretty serious. And, you know, hair in general, particularly Black women's hair, it's a sensitive subject for some people, you know, in that community. And so I kind of understood where Will was coming from. I wouldn't have gone up there and slapped him. But I also think Chris was in the wrong for making the joke. So you could say I'm neutral in it, but it's tough because I understand, you know, I think some people don't understand that you know, Black women's hair is a sensitive subject in the Black community over the last few years. And so I think that's kind of where I have a little bit more sympathy for Will, because I do think it was a bad joke by Chris, but more than anything, it was entertaining. I mean, that's it was a night to remember. I mean, I saw someone even on Twitter saying that, you know, Kanye is probably the happiest person. He doesn't have the most embarrassing moment in award show history. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what I thought it was. I thought right back to Kanye West, and I respect your opinion on this. You know, bad jokes happen from comedians. They tend to happen. They've had beef in the past. It was one of those things where 6 years ago, he was making fun of her at the Academy Awards when she wasn't there. Okay, but it's kind of a thing where, again, Will Smith Will Smith was laughing at jokes about everybody else.
But I think he was laughing at it for a second, but I think he realized what the joke was, the GI joke.
Okay.
And I think it didn't hit him until like a few seconds later. I think he was laughing at first, and then he realized, he probably looked over to Jada and was like, oh crap.
He could have shouted them down.
Yeah.
He could have shouted them down. What he yelled from the seats afterwards, that would have stopped it there, then and there. The going onto the stage was a little bit way overboard, and I loved when people bring up the comments about, well, would he have done that if it was a bigger person? You know, because he outweighs this guy by like 60, 80 pounds. He's 6 inches taller than him. You know, if that joke was done by somebody else who was bigger than him, I don't think he would have gone on stage and done that. And we have another hour to come here on Halftime San Antonio Sports Star. Hey, if you want to get a chance to check out the Valero Texas Open, call in right now, 656-ESPN. We're looking for caller number 6. Again, 656-ESPN for tickets to the Valero Texas Open. It's Movie Review Wednesday. Today, it's The Waterboy. Another hour to come on halftime, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Didn't catch R&R in the morning? Here's what you missed.
Hank the Tank is a black bear that lives in the Lake Tahoe region on the California side. Is responsible for 29 confirmed break-ins around this community.
Texas, it would have been like, dude would have been on the front page with his arm around the bear.
Got him from 150 yards.
And you know what we'd be saying, Texas? Hey, man, he broke in his house. He got what he deserved.
Rob Thompson, Rudy Jay, weekday morning 7 to 10 on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
After months of playing, college basketball has determined the top 4 teams, and the final 2 rounds will crown this year's champion. BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Don't let pain keep you from doing the things you love. I'm Dr. Jason Garrett from Arasti. At Arasti, we fix pain fast. Whether you've been living with chronic and nagging pain for years, or if you've recently experienced an injury, our goal is to get you out of pain as quickly as possible. Arasti is completely natural and non-invasive. Plus, Arasti accepts most insurance plans. There's a location near you. Visit Arasti.com. That's AIRROSTI.com. Arasti, we fix pain fast.
You can talk low carb all you want, but if you don't have a lineup of great tasting snacks behind you, you're not going to win the keto game. Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds are high protein and low carb. Plus, they're low sugar, gluten-free, and naturally loaded in collagen. So it is a no-brainer. Get the bold flavors of Southern Recipe small batch pork rinds at H-E-B and online at southernrecipesmallbatch.com.
Southern Recipe pork rinds.
Working from home, you realize you don't have enough outlets or USB ports. Hill Electric can fix that for you. For over 3 decades, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio homes and businesses. From adding an outlet, fixing that fuse that always blows, or that flickering light, Hill Electric has the right service at the right price, and there is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
Hello, I'm Dr. Torres, founder of the Institute for Functional Health here in the heart of San Antonio. Has the healthcare model of the past century let you down? This story sounds all too familiar. You see doctor after doctor, each one runs a few labs, prescribes a new medication, and invites you back in a few months for prescription refills, likely without a game plan. You're stuck in this endless cycle, while quite frankly, you don't feel much better than you did when you first started. Sure, your labs may improve. Your doctor may say everything looks normal, but you know better. You don't feel any better. This is exactly why I invite you to visit us here at the Institute for Functional Health, where we have reinvented patient care and are proud to invite you to the future of integrated modern medicine. We offer primary care for when you're sick or need prescription refills. But more importantly, our entire team focuses on finding the root cause of your symptoms and getting you off of your medications. So if you are tired of masking symptoms and are ready to get to the root cause of your problems, call us for a free consultation. 468-1891. 468-1891.
If you get arrested, get out of jail fast by calling AA Best Bail Bonds 210-225-2121. Text bail to 474747 or online mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else. Don't be forced into a PR bond. If the jail offers you one, make sure you understand the conditions before accepting it. AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans. Call 210-225-2121 or mybestbailbonds.com.
License number 149.
Live, local, loud. KZDC, San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN, AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. Michael Jimenez.
Halftime. It's hour number 2 of halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250, 103.3 FM. We're on the go at sasportstar.com. My name is Michael Jimenez, your host from 12 to 2, sports, pop culture, nostalgia. Edwin Hafner is producing today's show. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. If you want to talk sports, we'll be talking about the Spurs making the 10th spot so far. They control their destiny to make into the play-in tournament. We'll be talking about movies, baby, because it is Movie Review Wednesday at 1:30. I give my nostalgic review of Adam Sandler's The Waterboy, which I watched for the first time this week. Again, we go till 2 o'clock. Let's kick things off by just saying 3 words. Screw Eric Church. Screw Eric Church. Country superstar. Did you hear about this? The country superstar has canceled his concert, which was sold out at the AT&T Center this weekend, because he wants to go to a basketball game. 17,000 fans were expected to be there, and he wants to go to a basketball game. Screw Eric Church. I cannot believe it. I thought that was a joke when I first heard it. So what game does he want to go to? He wants to go see the North Carolina Duke Final Four game in New Orleans at the Superdome because he's a Tar Heels fan. And he released a statement saying that this is the most selfish thing that he's ever asked the church choir to do. The church choir is what he calls his fans. And he says that it's a sports enthusiast dream getting to watch Duke and UNC in the Final Four. Again, this is a really big game coming up. Not only is it a Final Four thing, but it could also be Coach K's last game as head coach of the Duke Blue Devils. I get it. It's a big ticket. I get it. They're ACC rivals. But, man, you sold out the AT&T Center in San Antonio. People made plans. People are coming from all over the state to go to that concert. People got babysitters. People booked hotels downtown. I wonder if the AT&T Center can go out and just sue his butt off. It wasn't an illness. It wasn't a situation like Taylor Hawkins passing away from the Foo Fighters. It wasn't anything like that. He is selfishly saying, hey, AT&T Center, I know that you could have given this date to somebody else. I know that you could have booked another act, another concert. I know that you could have booked a comedian. You could have booked something going on this weekend. We reserved it, and a week before it, I'm sorry, but Duke advanced from UNC advanced from the Elite Eight. I want to go to a basketball game. Unreal. And if you are a fan of Eric Church and have tickets to that concert, that's not going to happen apparently anytime soon. Call into the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines at 656 ESPN. Tell me your thoughts about Eric Church skipping the concert because he wants to go to a basketball game. I one time flew to a different state to watch a concert that got canceled. I know what it's like. It's about 5 or 6 years ago. My friend Greg and I were flying to Las Vegas to go watch the Rolling Stones in concert. That was part of my bucket list. I know they were probably in their 70s and all of that stuff. But still, they're not it's not the same as the Stones back in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s or anything like that. And I know they're old guys up there, but Mick Jagger's still alive. And I wanted to go see the Stones in concert. Flew out to Vegas, and the day of the concert, it got canceled because they claimed there was an illness. Okay, maybe that's true. Maybe that is factual. But the thing about it is that I remember walking up and down MGM Grand and seeing so many people wearing Rolling Stones gear. That red tongue, that iconic symbol of the Rolling Stones. I saw so many people there because we were going to pack the Garden Arena for that concert. And I was so disappointed. But at least they gave the excuse of an illness. But for a country superstar to come to San Antonio and tell fans in San Antonio, because he has a ton of fans here. You know that he has a ton of fans here. To come in and say, no, I do not want to perform in front of an audience of 17,000 people. I would much rather go to a basketball game. And by the way, I looked it up. I went to go see what year he graduated from UNC. He didn't even go there, man. He graduated with a marketing degree from Appalachia State. He didn't even go there.
Well, Appalachian State's in North Carolina.
That is true. It's in Boone, North Carolina,
Yeah.
but he did not go to UNC. He's from North Carolina. He was born in Granite Falls, North Carolina on May 3rd, 1977. So he's from there. I get that. But this is the equivalent of me becoming a country superstar and attending Texas State and saying that I don't want to go perform because UT made the Final Four. I didn't go to UT. I went to Texas State. Now, if he wants to go see App State beat Michigan, like they did years ago, I get that, okay? But you didn't even go there. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. We have Joe on the line. Line 1. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Nothing much. What's going on?
You're Eric Church, he did his thing. But, I mean, the athletes do it, when they sit out. When LeBron sits out to go or misses a game to go watch his son play a high school game, or Kawhi and PG, what they did, what was it, with the Super Bowl?
I get that, but the game still goes on. I mean, there's still other athletes on the court at the time or on the field at that time. Eric Church doesn't go. The whole event is shot. If LeBron James does not play, the Spurs still play the Lakers.
Very true, yeah, but like how I think y'all had the discussion a couple of weeks ago, when you save up to get your kid, go watch LeBron, he's coming to San Antonio, and then, he's not going to play. So you buy the ticket. Most people now buy the ticket for the star, not really the team. And, it's kind of like this situation. Although, like how you said, the team does have other players, but I mean, most fans nowadays, they only buy tickets for players and not really a team.
Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying, Joe. Thank you for the call. It's weird because I like what he's saying there. There's a lot to unravel when it comes to that. I like what he's saying. The difference is that, again, the game still goes on, and I think people expect injuries. I think people expect illnesses. Ja Morant, those who bought tickets to see the Spurs play Memphis tonight, I know that they wanted to see Ja Morant, okay? And he's not going to be playing. And they may have bought those tickets days in advance. I get that. But there's a difference between having 41 home games and having a concert that's only come in one time. It's a little bit different because you can always go to another Spurs game. You miss the Spurs game this week, you can go to the next one, and the game still goes on. The concert is shot, man. It's not going to happen. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines again. We have Paul on the line. Paul on line 2. What's going on, Paul?
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good.
I've never purchased a ticket to a concert that's been canceled. But the concert tickets I have canceled, I mean, all the fees that are loaded on there. About that money.
Okay, say that one more time. You said that there was a lot of fees in there. You dropped out for a second. You said that there's a lot of fees involved in all these concert
there's
tickets.
A lot of fees. There's a service charge, and there's a tax on the building, and all these other fees that add up. And your $100 ticket is now $140.
That's.
And then we're going to get my $100 back for the ticket, but did I get the $40 back too?
I would assume so.
People are losing out, even if you do get refunded.
I would assume so. Hey, Paul, thank you for calling in. Again, the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. I understand what he's saying, man. A lot of people are upset about those prices of tickets because you get, they say it's $50, but when you get wrung out, it's $70 because of certain charges for fees and surcharges and all that stuff. But, James Pledger reaching out, our producer on YouTube, saying this game is once in a lifetime. I get it. He'll reschedule. The problem is not everybody's going to be able to come back. Again, if people are traveling to San Antonio, if people are hiring people, or people are hiring babysitters, if people are getting hotel rooms, they cannot take that back. They can't. They may have already paid for their hotel room. They may have already paid for a babysitter. They may have already paid for a flight to come to San Antonio. And if he reschedules 4 months from now or 6 months from now, then that doesn't mean that everybody's going to be able to come back. I mean, it's supposed to be an experience. This game may be once in a lifetime, but this might be a once-in-a-lifetime chance to watch this particular country music star. I hope the AT&T Center sues his ass off. I hope they go after him. I hope that they do. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are still open when it comes to this. Let's see here. We've got Andre on line one. What's going on, Andre?
Hey, what's going on? A lot of y'all, I'm actually from North Carolina, and y'all don't actually realize the depth of the rivalry. I'm actually flying out to North Carolina tomorrow just to be at home when we play them.
They're not even playing in North Carolina. They're playing in Louisiana. But tell me more about this rivalry.
But it's just to be among North Carolina, fans and things like that. And plus, I'm going to visit my dad, but that's neither here nor there. But I'm flying out, and I can't be more excited about this game because it's going to be Coach K's last game.
Wow.
And in the COVID situation, since the COVID situation, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'm not an Eric Church fan. I don't, really know, how far his fandom extends out there. But I think this rivalry is pretty big, and it's for a good cause.
Andre, here's the thing, man. One last thing about it. Can you imagine being a North Carolina fan and not only being the last game of Coach K's career, knocking his career out, but also it was the last game at Duke. They beat them in Duke. His last home game was ruined by UNC. They would be back to back.
Believe me, I know. I know. And so this makes that game even more intense. And I don't fault the man for wanting to be there, but I understand his fans can.
Understood. Andre, thank you for calling in to halftime. The Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, again, are open at 656-ESPN. I said it once. I'll say it twice. I'll say it a third time. Screw Eric Church. AT&T Center. Go off and sue him. But, it's funny. He mentioned how big of a rivalry that is in North Carolina. I oftentimes work in North Carolina because not only do I host this show, but I am also a financial guy, retirement guy, insurance guy, all that stuff. And I sometimes go to Greensboro, North Carolina, which is where Lincoln Financial is located. And that's where it's headquartered. And, I go around and I start talking to people at stores and whatnot. I buy merch. I buy UNC merch. I buy Duke merch. And they would tell me there that no one there cheers for Duke. That no one in North Carolina cheers for Duke. Even though UNC and the Duke campus are right next to each other, there's probably about a 30-mile difference between the two, that no one cheers for Duke. That UNC is the number one school there, and the second most popular school is NC State. The third most popular school is probably App State. Fourth is probably Wake Forest. And that Duke is far behind in fifth. That if there was a poll of fans out there as to who they're going to be rooting for, over 90% would say North Carolina. That is a big deal over there. It's not like in Texas, where if it was a UT versus an A&M thing, where it'd be like 50-50 or 60-40. Over there, it's 95-5. So over there, people cheer for UNC by far. And it's crazy to hear that. But Eric Church, again, country superstar, has decided to cancel his concert in San Antonio. I'm sure it's going to be redone, remade, but I tell you what, not all 17,000 people are going to be able to go back. But speaking of the AT&T Center, hopefully there's 17,000 people there tonight because the Spurs take on the Memphis Grizzlies, a Memphis team that is without Ja Morant, which is kind of weird because you would think if you do not have your number one player, your all-star player, that you're going to play worse without him. But somehow or another, the Memphis Grizzlies are 18-2 without him. That's a 900 winning percentage. Absolutely insane. Jaren Jackson Jr. is questionable for the game. He's their second best player. So it's possible the Spurs might get an easy win tonight, especially if those two players are not there, right? If the two stars are not suiting up for the Memphis Grizzlies. Memphis really doesn't have much to play for. The Spurs have something to play for, which is basically the play-in tournament. Right now, sitting at number 10, Spurs control their destiny, can make the play-in tournament. All they got to do is just fend off the Lakers, man. Just fend off the Lakers, and they make it in there. But if you take a look at the standings right now, the Spurs right now, I mean, obviously you're going to finish the season with a losing record. The Spurs right now are 31-44, And they're one game behind New Orleans, which is interesting because if the Spurs can catch up to the Pelicans and overtake them, the Spurs actually host a play-in tournament game because the 9 seed hosts the game. The way the play-in works is 7 plays 8, and as of right now, that would be the Clippers going to Minnesota. The loser of that game will host the winner of the 9-10 matchup, which is currently San Antonio against the Pelicans. It's kind of an odd thing. Right now, only the top 6 spots are, guaranteed to make the playoffs, but the Spurs could conceivably make their way in if they beat the Pelicans and then go on and beat either the Clippers or the T-Wolves. The Spurs can make their way into the playoffs and probably take on the Phoenix Suns at that point. But Memphis right now at 53-23 has a 5-game buffer between themselves and the Golden State Warriors, a Golden State team that does not have Steph Curry, a Golden State Warriors team that does not have their best player. And the Warriors have lost 6 out of 10 games. So with, 6 games to go, 5-game lead for that 2 spot, Memphis has no reason to play their star players. So, Steve Sosa reaches out on YouTube, says, I wanted Morant to play so I could pick the over for him. It's funny because, people watch the games because they love to cheer for the Spurs. Others just cheer for who they're betting for. I know I did that with certain games over the weekend. I admit it. March Madness got the best of me. And typically I do well when it comes to betting for things like football and basketball and stuff like that. Man, March Madness just ruined me. I was over. Actually, no, I hit 1. I was like 1 for 5 in my bets this week. But fortunately, they were all small bets. I didn't do anything major. Again, Spurs tip off at 7:30. I'm expecting to win because you take a look at the Lakers right now. I'm expecting the Spurs to make it into the play-in tournament because the Lakers are playing so poorly and the Spurs have won 4 in a row. How good this team is. All I know is that they're not the bottom tier because they beat the bottom tier. But how good is this team? To be honest with you, I do not know. Think about the Dallas Cowboys. I always ask the question, how good are the Cowboys? Because if they're playing Washington football team and beating up on the Giants and beating up on a hurt Eagles team and then beating up on another hurt team and they rack up all these W's and you go, well, they made the playoffs. They've got to be good, right? And then all of a sudden they play a decent team and it's like a buzzsaw. They get killed. I wonder if that's going to happen to the Spurs, or maybe the Spurs are in fact better than what they were a month or 2 ago. One thing is for sure, the Spurs are knocking down 3-pointers at a higher clip. So I'll take that. I'll take that as a positive sign for the Spurs. But again, the Spurs control their destiny. Last night was pretty interesting. I actually reached out to somebody that I follow on TikTok. She goes by Up and Atom, spelled ATOM. And right now, I'm in talks with her being on the show next Tuesday, being on Halftime. And I'd be so excited about that. 2 of my favorite people on TikTok I got to meet. I got to meet Annie Agar at Super Bowl Radio Row, and she was on Halftime. And she was somebody that I followed on TikTok for so long. And now Mariana, Up and Atom, will be on, it looks like Tuesday at 12:45. I'm super excited about it. So who's Mariana? Well, we do Tuesdays with Teague, right? So we get the female flavor here on the show on Tuesdays. Mariana is an expert in getting people to get boyfriends or girlfriends, right? She is a dating expert. What to say, how to say it, when to say it. She even helps people when it comes to things like their dating profiles on whether it be Hinge or Match or Bumble, how to make the most of that. She's a coach, a dating coach. And it was so funny. I had a good 20-minute conversation with her last night. And man, I tell you what, she was making me laugh so hard because she was talking about how hard it is to date these days, how hard it is to meet somebody in real life, that all these people turn to dating apps and things like that. What do you say if you want to meet somebody at a grocery store? So again, we do sports, pop culture, and nostalgia, but next Tuesday, a little bit of life and love, maybe some dating advice. So I'm looking forward to it. As of right now, she's scheduled for Tuesday at 12:30, 12:45 in that time frame. That is Mariana, again, Up and Atom. And right now, James Pledger is looking at me through the window. I think that he thinks that I scheduled her for him because I have told Pledge that I want him to get a girlfriend, man. It'll be easier for us to all go out. Me and Selena can meet up with you, significant other, something like that. I know you had a girlfriend for like a good 3 years, and you told me about that a long time ago. But I want to see you with a girlfriend, dude. I want to see you with a girl so we can go axe throwing as couples. We can go do things. We can go go-karting, paintballing. We can do all the fun things. We go to Green Acres, have a good time. I did not schedule Mariana for you because if I did, it would have been the day that you're producing the show. But I want Pledge. I want good things for Pledge. I want good things for Pledge. And Frank Valdez reaches out on YouTube and says, yeah, we all think that this was all done to get Pledge a girl. Maybe. I've tried setting him up. I've tried and failed. But Pledge is an interesting cat. I love that man.
Should be a segment on our show.
Oh, dude.
Setup.
A setup? Right.
Yeah.
But what do you think, man? Because this show is evolving over time because, it was a 100% sports show. And it's so funny because people come by to me, and if I meet them at an event or I'm on the street and we start talking about sports and like, oh, like you do halftime, they always say that the topics that they like the most are the ones that are not sports related. Like what they remember are movie reviews, which by the way, we're doing Waterboy in a few minutes. They remember things like, someone came up to me recently and was like, hey, remember that conversation we had about your last meal on death row? Or the conversation that you had about nightclubs in the 90s and early 2000s? That is what people gravitate to. So I'm trying to evolve this show into basically bar talk without the alcohol. And that's basically, what do guys talk about? What do girls talk about? Sports fans talk about. We talk about sports. We talk about food. We talk about music. We talk about sex or dating. I kind of want this show to evolve into that. And I think having Mariana next Tuesday would be amazing, especially with Carolina Teague here with me. Tarek says, I have a fiance and 2 kids. I'll double date with you, Mike. Dude, I love that on YouTube. But, again, we're live on YouTube right now. Not on Facebook, but that's okay. We're on YouTube. We're also on San Antonio Sports Star. You can reach out to us that way. But it's been a fun show. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. Again, the best call of this hour gets the tickets to go see Daughtry in concert. Daughtry, by the way, is somebody that, I think it's interesting because a lot of fans of rock music back in the day used to hate American Idol. American Idol, now with Lionel Richie and Katy Perry, isn't as big as it was 15, 20 years ago when it first came out. Back then, it was the hugest show out there. Everyone was watching it. And a bunch of rock fans were like, no, man, I don't watch that. That show's crap and blah, 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 blah. But when Daughtry came out, suddenly rock fans were like, I'm okay with Daughtry. And it was so weird. But Daughtry's coming to town, and we're giving away tickets in this hour. Again, Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656 ESPN. I think right now David is the winner so far. Can we beat David? This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star. When we come back, guess what? It is Movie Review Wednesday. You love them, you hate them, you love to hate them. These are movies that everyone has seen except for me. My wife chose this one. It is The Waterboy, starring Adam Sandler. People already reaching out to me on Twitter saying, I better give this a good review. Dude, you know what? I'm going to be completely honest about it. And the one thing I'll say is that when it comes to Adam Sandler, I either love it or hate it. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
We all know the destination, but it's the journey that defines the team.
3 again, good again.
One stumble and it may be the end. Every game.
Reverse layup, yeah.
Every moment.
Rises up 4-3, bucket, oh my.
Is one step closer to the destination.
Good by Selden, a 3.
Listen for the latest tournament scores and news. Are you ready for the madness?
Boom, boom, shakalaka.
San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Longer days, warmer weather. This is the time of year you need to be enjoying life without joint pain.
Hey, it's James Pledger. Time to call QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is helping people here and all over America get real, lasting pain relief. They use highly concentrated, cutting-edge natural biologic treatments that can restore and repair damaged joint tissue, getting to the root of the pain. It's life-changing. You can get back to moving again like you used to with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. If you have nagging pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or back, and you're done with steroids and pain meds, call QC Kinetics. And if they're telling you that surgery is your next option, don't do it. Call QC Kinetics for a free consultation and free second opinion. Learn more about these amazing natural biologic treatments. Enjoy this time of year doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics. Call 210-571-0318 for a free consultation. 210-571-0318. That's 571-0318. Locations in Hollywood Park and Westover Hills.
Anywhere fans go to cheer on their team, there are behind-the-scenes MVPs, ensuring everything is game day ready. We see you, Joe, fixing seats so every fan can enjoy every game. And Allie, who keeps her stadium running smoothly from the moment the first game starts to the last play of the season. At Grainger, you're our MVPs, and we're always here for you, with supplies and solutions for every industry and 24/7 customer support. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
On the radio, all I hear is sell us your house, sell us your car, sell us your dog, sell us your wife, and sell us your children. My name's John Clay Wolf, and I created GiveMeTheVin.com. First guy to ever advertise sell us your car on the radio. Been doing it 30 years. Everybody copied me, man. I got to come up with a new deal. No, I don't, because we're the best car buyer in the United States of America. GiveMeTheVin.com.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Set sail on a taste adventure with SeaWorld's annual Seven Seas Food Festival. Fridays, Saturdays, Sundays through May 30th. From foodies to families, everyone will find tasty delights and delicious flavors from countries across the globe. Oceans of flavor and fun are waiting at SeaWorld, along with the excitement of meeting incredible animals and the unforgettable thrills of soaring on Texas's best thrill rides, including the all-new Tidal Surge, the world's tallest and fastest ride of its kind. Don't miss your chance to indulge as your foodie favorites return for a limited time. Visit SeaWorldSanAntonio.com for tickets, passes, and more.
When it comes to Twin Peaks beverages, they take things pretty seriously, which is why over the last few months they've been innovating, they've been creating, and they've created an elevated drink menu that is something for everyone. Their newest creations have already hit the bar. Get ready for additions like the Pink Whitney with pink lemonade vodka by the Spittin' Chicklets Group, the Termana Silver, it's one of Dwayne Rock Johnson's premium tequilas. Cheers! Twins! Eats are fantastic. Drinks, they're icy cold. And oh, those scenic views.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
It's halftime with Michael Jimenez on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
It's halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. On the go at SASportsStar.com. Again, Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open at 656-ESPN. If you want to talk about Adam Sandler, the Waterboy, baby. Movie review Wednesday. James Pledger is here with me. I went to the men's room, came back, and I found you in my chair. You're saying I'm commandeering this segment.
Yeah, I can't in good faith allow you to give this a bad review and one, be hated by all of San Antonio, and B, I just can't. Because I will look at you different, and I can't have that.
I stretched my legs for 2 minutes just to walk around, just to throw water in my face.
Yeah, that's what you do when you're about to give a bad grade. You have to get up and walk around because you know it's a bad idea.
Well, what's funny is that, I usually ask people on Twitter about which movie I should do the nostalgic movie review because everyone's seen these movies, but I grew up not watching a lot of popular movies. And I'm going back at age 44, age 45 and watching these movies for the very, very first time. And typically people reach out to me on Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, giving me a recommendation.
How long have you been married to your wife?
11 years.
How
almost.
long have you been together with your wife?
11 years. So yeah, we got married real fast.
I know, but like,
but the thing is that she recommended this movie not because she wanted to recommend it for the show. It's because I gave her the remote and I said, pick a movie. She was on Peacock, came out and said, oh, let's watch this movie. And I was like, this movie? I've never seen it. And she goes, Michael, I love this movie.
Yeah. How do you not know this about your wife?
I know. And she goes, I haven't seen it in forever, but I love this movie. And I said, great. I have a movie to review, which is funny because when it comes to Adam Sandler, he's like that one guy that I either love the movie or hate the movie. And you go back, The Wedding Singer was a good movie. Happy Gilmore was a good movie. I liked the Grown Ups movies. Okay. They were okay. I mean, I liked them.
Those are kind of misses for me, but
yeah, it all depends, And then there was also Miss Veronica Vaughn, Billy Madison, right? So I loved those movies, but there've been other misses, man. He's had, things like Just Go With It, Mr. Deeds, Little Nicky.
Mr. Deeds is great.
I didn't like those
Little
movies.
Nicky. So
and then he had Uncut Gems last year on Netflix, and I hated that movie. I couldn't even finish it.
I heard a lot of good things about it, never watched it.
So when it comes to this movie,
Blended got better the more I
50
saw it.
First Dates was
50 First Dates was really good.
I
enjoyed that.
So when it comes to this movie,
this is why I can't trust you.
Let's talk about this movie. This movie, Adam Sandler stars as Bobby Boucher. He's a 31-year-old stuttering dude, kind of Forrest Gumpy, who is a water boy who got canned from the big university that hired him as a water boy. He was kind of bullied by a lot of people. And he goes back to his mama, who's played by Kathy Bates, who I love Kathy Bates. And, she shelters him, worse than me growing up when it came to movies. She homeschools
I thought
him.
it was just a documentary of your life.
She shelters him, tells him like how things work and basically just feeds him nonsense because they got left by his father when he was little. And basically she's trying to protect him. Right. But he wants to continue being a water boy. He goes to a rival school, this team that had lost more than 40 games in a row. And it was like a laughing stock of college football. And he goes in there and decides that he wants to do it for free.
With Henry Winkler as the head coach.
Henry Winkler, yeah, the Fonz, baby. The Fonz is there.
Who is the former offensive coordinator at the big university.
Yes. So he goes out over there and basically he gets upset. Like he got picked on one too many times, Will Smith-esque. And goes out there and just annihilates a quarterback. And they go, man, this guy can hit. So it's funny. It's funny because I told my wife, I was like, what is this guy? Lawrence Taylor? And then we see Lawrence Taylor in a cameo in there. I was like, right on cue. And then we see a bunch of ESPN types in there. We had Brent Musburger, Dan Fouts. We had Dan Patrick.
Herbie.
Herbie was there as well. And it was coming along, the question that came up, Vicky Valancourt, who played the love interest, is she attractive or not? I think half the people side with, yeah, she's smoking hot. The other half are like, not in a million years. We got to do the hot crazy matrix on that one to see where that one falls. He basically joins the football team in secret. Tackling Fuel was basically
Tackling Fuel.
The coach's way of saying, just think about all the people who piss you off, and that'll motivate you to want to hit somebody.
Yes.
And he goes on and breaks NCAA records for sacks in a game. He gives up a game because he gets, he wants to hit somebody. So he gives them the ball. They get the score touchdown.
Drop kicks him in the end zone.
Yeah. Because at some point it wasn't about winning. It was about hitting. And so they're making a bowl game for the first time ever. And what ends up happening?
The Bourbon Bowl.
The Bourbon Bowl, right? And then what ends up happening was at the very end, basically, he is being not allowed to play for a while because
his mom found
and also because his transcripts were also garbage because he was homeschooled and didn't know anything. Now, one of the funny scenes about this movie,
but I thought alligators was mean because they had all them teeth and no toothbrush to brush them with.
No, it's about the medulla oblongata, so. It was so stupid. This movie is so stupid. But,
So you were expecting an Oscar performance?
Yes, I was expecting an Oscar performance. But the medulla oblongata scene really got me going. He goes back.
You're wrong, Colonel Sanders.
He gets reinstated and shows up in an airboat to New Orleans.
Well, yeah, they live in New Orleans. Everybody drives airboats.
The coach Henry Winkler is daydreaming about the opposing coach being a baby, so that he's not fearful of him. Dude, this movie is so ridiculously stupid. It's one of the dumbest movies I've ever seen in my entire life. I give it an A-.
There it is.
Love it. I loved it. I've seen it 3 times this week. I love it more every time. I kick myself for not watching this when I was 21 years old when it came out in 98.
Sometimes you just needed a ridiculous laugh.
Yeah. And now I think about it, I gave it a better grade than The Dark Knight. So you heard it here first. The Waterboy is greater than The Dark Knight because I gave The Dark Knight like a B+.
Yeah.
So it was stupid. It was so stupid. But
yes, it's not supposed to be like a documentary or anything based in fact or realism.
But Adam Sandler is so hit and miss, man. He's like either right on, like Billy Madison.
Yes.
Right on.
Another one of those stupidly great comedies.
But he's also sometimes so bad. But, so what's funny about it is you go back into researching these movies. Adam Sandler holds the record for the most Golden Razzie nominations for Worst Actor. 6 of them. He's won them a handful of times. He was actually nominated for this particular movie. I do not take the Razzies. I don't take them any mind anymore. I don't believe in them anymore.
You should,
because this is a great movie.
Yes,
this is a really good movie.
It is a fantastic
It's a stupid good movie, and sometimes stupid. And I go back. Roger Ebert gave it a bad review. But what I found though, when I was researching the reviews, the closer you were to Louisiana, the better the review. So the reviews from the West Coast and the Northeast, they hated it. But if it came from Texas, like the Austin American Statesman gave it a good review. If it came from Houston, they're like, no, man, there's something about that. And I did not realize that Coach O, formerly of the LSU Tigers, was in this movie.
Yeah.
He's not, but the guy that sounds like him. Oh my God, what a bad movie, but a bad in a good way. Tackling Fuel, Girls of the Devil.
Girls of the Devil, Bobby Boucher.
But Kathy Bates apparently did not want to be in the movie. She was convinced by her niece, who knew who Adam Sandler was, to be in this movie. It made a lot of money. $20 million budget, made $190 million. So, when you make 9.5 times what you put into it, that is usually a good thing. If you want to reach out to me and tell me what movie to review next, if you want to ask me, hey, what movie have you not seen? Keep in mind, on this show,
all of them
I've reviewed in the last few months. Alien, I've done E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, there's been so many movies that I had never seen up until doing this show. It is a great time. I am at Mike ESPN SA. Kielbasa Bacon phone line still open at 656 ESPN. If you want to talk about Bobby Boucher and the Waterboy, if you want to talk about the Spurs, Cowboys,
some Daughtry tickets.
Get some Daughtry tickets. You know what? We were talking about who should win these tickets, and we're kind of going back and forth. We had a couple of names. I have one name that I like. Edwin has one name that he likes. We're going to battle royale this and see. Maybe Pledge is going to be the deciding factor. We'll figure that out.
Maybe somebody's going to come in off the top rope and be like, Mike, you're dumb. Eric Church should absolutely go to this game. And I'll be like, that guy needs to go to Daughtry.
Exactly. This is Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM.
The NCAA tournament started with 68 teams.
You can feel the madness!
After a handful of upsets and some buzzer beaters, we've landed here. The Final Four in the Big Easy and a national championship game happens here. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
This Sports Center update is brought to you by Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 100% satisfaction guarantee.
In the NFL, the Dallas Cowboys CEO Stephen Jones confirmed that newly re-signed wide receiver Michael Gallup could miss the first 2 to 3 weeks of the season. Gallup suffered a torn ACL in the Cowboys' Week 17 loss to the Cardinals. In the NBA, the San Antonio Spurs have moved into 10th and the play-in tournament with the Lakers' 128-110 loss last night to the Dallas Mavericks. San Antonio will return to action tonight as they go for their 5th straight win against the Memphis Grizzlies. Tip-off is set for 7:30 from the AT&T Center. In the NIT semifinals, the Fighting Texas A&M Aggies are on to the NIT title game after beating Washington State 72-56, led by Quentin Jackson's 18 points. They'll face Xavier in the finals on Thursday, who beat St. Bonaventure 84-77. For San Antonio Sports Star, I'm Rudy Jay.
After months of playing, college basketball has determined the top 4 teams, and the final 2 rounds will crown this year's champion. BetOnline.net is your #1 source for all your betting needs and sports info. From all the latest odds, contests, and player props, you name it. And it's not just basketball. BetOnline.net is your continued source for all your sporting wagering information, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino games. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more about the trends and action. BetOnline.net, where the game starts.
Injuries happen, so if you twist, pull, pop, or snap something, you need Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Dr. Espinosa treats all non-surgical orthopedic injuries and has same-day and next-day availability. Telemedicine services are also available. There is no reason to be in pain. If you are hurting, visit Dr. David Espinosa at TSAOG Orthopedics. Learn more at TSAOG.com. That's TSAOG.com, or schedule your appointment by calling 210-804-5490.
Hello, Discover here to explain our Cashback Match. Here's how it works. We give you cash back for using your Discover card on the things you were going to buy anyway. Then we match that cash back in your first year. And that's why we call it Cashback Match. Now to recap and say cashback one more time. We match all the cash back you've earned at the end of your first year automatically. Discover. Exceptionally common sense. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
If you have a small business, Staples has your sign.
Banners for my bakery?
Staples has your sign.
Oh, posters for my new pet store.
Floor decals for a pharmacy.
Every day, Staples associates help every kind of small business create bold signs to make big impressions. And now get $10 off custom signs, banners, and posters when you spend $50 or more. This is your sign, so print it big at Staples. Ends 5/28. Visit staplesconnect.com/thisisyoursign for details.
Where are those receipts?
Tax day is nearly here,
I held on to those.
and Chanel is stressing.
Why do I always wait to the last minute?
Her small business needs a bookkeeper to crunch some big numbers.
All these spreadsheets make my head spin. None of this adds up.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Our hiring platform instantly connects you with quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed match your job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Research shows that people remember radio ads with a booming voice that emphasizes all the main points. So to help you remember that Liberty Mutual Insurance Company customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
That part is super important.
Here's one with a booming voice.
I'm emphasizing everything.
Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance.
Like a page with every word highlighted.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Hey, Ray Magliozzi here. I'd like to carry more parts at my shop, but I just don't have the room. Every time I go in the back to get wiper blades, I trip over a dusty crate of Honda air filters, then bang my head on some GTO radiator hoses. eBay Motors never has that problem. They stock all the right parts at the right prices. 122 million of them, with everything from new headlights to vintage gear shifters. I can't imagine being able to stock 122 million parts. I mean, where would I get all those shelves? eBay Motors. Let's ride.
1911 Cigars is the premier cigar lounge in South Texas, providing quality, affordable cigars in a professional, inviting environment with a large covered patio with TVs. A BYOB establishment, 1911 Cigars strives to allow the avid cigar connoisseur a comfortable place to relax, socialize, network, and of course enjoy a great cigar. 1911 Cigars is available for private events and has private cabanas with TVs, fire pits, and heaters. 1911 Cigars at 207 South Main Street in Cibolo. Online at 1911cigars.com. hillelectric.com.
When you need an electrician, Hill Electric is available 24/7 for residential and commercial needs. If you're having to rework your office, let Hill Electric design your socially distanced space to ensure each workstation has the proper electrical needs. For over 35 years, the family-owned Hill Electric has served San Antonio. There is never a service charge and always free estimates. Call Hill Electric at 210-404-9074. That's 404-9074. Or go to hill-electric.com.
I smell a tournament. The madness of March has begun. You made your picks, and now it's time for some serious college hoops. We've got you covered. Listen for the latest tournament scores and news. San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Hey guys, it's Rudy Jay. Your home for sports talk is right here on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN 1250 and 103.3 FM.
Wow. Some very sad news coming into San Antonio Sports Star. People Magazine, people.com, is reporting that Bruce Willis is retiring from acting at the age of 67. He posted on Instagram today that he was diagnosed with aphasia. According to the Mayo Clinic, this robs you of the ability to communicate and affects your ability to speak, write, or understand language, both verbal and written. Apparently, this often comes after a traumatic head injury or possibly a stroke, although we don't know exactly what caused this. But again, Bruce Willis is retiring from acting at the age of 67, obviously known for movies like Armageddon, Pulp Fiction, and Die Hard. Welcome back to Halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250 and 103.3 FM. On the go at sasportstar.com. On the last segment, I did the nostalgic movie review of Waterboy and gave it an A-. Kielbasa Bacon phone lines are open, and we have Raymond wanting to talk about it. What's going on, Raymond?
Hey. I'm here.
Yeah, what's up, man?
Hey, Michael. Hey, I'm glad you liked the movie. I really liked it. I think my favorite scene is when Henry Winkler's on the phone and he's telling his mom that he didn't get the job and the phone line disconnected and he has his high heels on. I thought that scene was just hilarious. I love the movie.
Dude, it was a great movie. You know, speaking about like just scenes that were stolen, that stole the movie, that weren't even that funny. A friend of mine brought up the fact that there's a scene where Kathy Bates, the mom, is showing a letter written by the father to Bobby Boucher, and it says, "Dear Helen," and he reads it and goes, "Who's that, Mama?" She goes, "Helen. Helen's my first name." Such a stupid movie, man. Thank you for calling on in. We got Chris on line 2 wanting to talk. What's going on, Chris?
Oh, Michael, so glad you gave this movie a good review, because if not, the hands will come to roost, Michael Jimenez. The hands will come to roost. Oh, my God. It was such a great movie, line after line, and I still use some of those lines today. Just recently, my middle daughter has a boyfriend, and his name is Robert.
Mm-hmm.
So when she first told me that, the first thing I thought, her name is Courtney, and I was, Courtney, look at me, it's your daddy, Roberto.
Very nice, dude. It was a funny movie, and apparently my wife has secretly liked this movie for many, many years, and I did not know about it. I've seen it 3 times since Sunday, not only to prepare for this show, but also because it was just stupid. And I like a lot of stupid movies out there, but this one was a smart, stupid movie, and I enjoyed all the cameos. I enjoyed all the ESPN cameos, and also seeing Lawrence Taylor out there, because I mean, I saw Bobby Boucher do his thing, and I was like, what is this guy, Lawrence Taylor? And Lawrence Taylor appeared, man. It was so much fun. Edwin, have you seen The Waterboy?
Yeah, absolutely. I can't believe you haven't seen it. And it was made in 98.
Yeah.
You hadn't seen it because I was only 2 in 98.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's a great movie.
Dude.
It's you said it's a bad movie. It's kind of in the category of stupid funny.
Yeah,
How about that?
It is stupid funny. It's a smart, stupid funny. I enjoyed it, but there's other sports movies that I have never seen. I've never seen The Replacements. I think people are asking me to watch that movie.
Have you seen Glory Road?
I have never seen Glory Road.
That's my favorite movie.
I've never seen Friday Night Lights. Maybe I'll do kind of like for the month of April sports movies that I've never seen. I know that the guys did not want to watch that movie about Kurt Warner. And I was like, I see that at Redbox right now for $1. So maybe I'll check out that movie, especially if it's bad. I want to watch bad movies too. But I'm glad that people enjoy this movie review. I am not pandering to people. People will sometimes say, well, you're giving it a good review because you gave, Big Trouble in Little China a bad review. Nope, that is not it. That is not it at all. But again, we're having a great time over here. Thank you for calling on in. We're going to pick the winner for the Daughtry tickets. We're going to have a powwow with me and Edwin to see who the winner is. We'll call you if you are the winner. Again, the Blitz is coming on from 4 to 7. Jason Minix and Joe Reinagel are going to be doing the Blitz. But tomorrow, R&R in the morning, halftime, and the Blitz will be at the Valero Texas Open. I'm super excited about that. And again, we'll be doing it again on Friday night as well. Spurs back in action tonight against the Memphis Grizzlies. No Ja Morant, possibly no Jaren Jackson Jr. And one last time before we go, screw Eric Church. This is halftime on San Antonio Sports Star, ESPN AM 1250.
Roll home with Joe Reinagel and Jason Minix.
Oh my